Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to break down the 9-game NBA main slate here on Saturday. A couple things before we get in the video. We're closing in on 1.7 thousand subscribers now. Thank you guys all so much for all the support on the live streams, YouTube videos, and Twitter. Really appreciate it. Two, if you're new to the channel, I'm doing a weekly giveaway where all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. It's one entry into the giveaway. Max one comment though per video. And how it works is however many videos up for the week, you can enter the giveaway that many times. So say I have 10 videos up for the week, you can enter the giveaway 10 times. It starts with my Monday night showdown video that I had at the beginning of the week, goes throughout the week, and it'll end in my Monday night showdown video at the end of the week. And then the winner receives $20 PayPal for myself. With that out of the way, let's jump in the video. So first, let's look back to see how we did on Friday. Friday was a pretty solid night. Could have been a lot bigger night for me. Could have won thousands of dollars. I pivoted last second here. I had Jokic in my lineup, rearranged it to get Randall in, and obviously that was a mistake. My issue was my Jokic lineup had Marvin Williams in it, and that was a guy that they announced wasn't starting, and I just wasn't super confident about him. So that's why I pivoted to get like Marcus Morris, Randall. But still, even with I think Marvin Williams got like 1 point. Even with that 1 point with Jokic in my lineup, still would have been done better. But overall, like I said, Lonzo was a guy that I was leaning towards playing. The concern was Alvin Gentry. In the first game, didn't play him in the fourth quarter. But 37 fantasy points at 0.6%. I would take that all day. Doncic, you guys knew I really liked him in a great matchup. Then Marcus Morris and Randall, a little bit disappointing there. Karl-Anthony Towns was huge, right? Only 58% owned, 82 fantasy points. Didn't even play the full fourth quarter because it was a blowout. Then Brunson was the guy I got on late. I was really deciding between him and Chris Dunn. Both are really solid. I think Brunson outscored Dunn by a couple fantasy points. But the reason I wanted Brunson to see was inserted in the starting lineup. And again, the matchup is just so good against the Pelicans. And then Bjelica and Holmes, right? I talked about those two guys. Talked about Baines, Kaminsky. A lot of those value guys were pretty solid here. So overall, a really good night. And let's see if we can keep it going here for Saturday. So let's take a look at the slate here. All right, before we jump into the prices, let's look at the over/under and the spreads of these games. So this Miami-Milwaukee game is not on the main slate. So it starts here with Detroit-Philly, sitting at 216.5 with Philly favored by 3.5. Celtics-Knicks at 216 with Boston favored by 6. Magic-Hawks is at 217.5 with the Magic favored by 2.5. Cavs-Pacers sitting at 214.5 with the Pacers favored by 5.5. Here's the big game, right? Pelicans-Rockets, 237.5. Rockets favored by 11. So, yeah, I'm going to want some pieces in this game. The concern is there is some blowout risk, right? Pelicans are on a back-to-back too. Rockets favored by 11. But, yeah, 237.5. You're going to want some pieces in that game. Raptors-Bulls sitting at 219.5 with Raptors favored by 3.5. Wizards Spurs at 218 with the Spurs favored by 11.5. So there's some blowout risk in this one as well. Kings Jazz sitting at 221 with the Jazz favored by 9.5. A little bit of blowout risk as well. And same thing here with Clippers at Suns 226 with the Clippers favored by 9.5. So with all that said, let's take a look at these prices. So we'll start at center today. Now, center's interesting, right? There are still a lot of really good value plays, and that's kind of where I'm leaning towards right now. So these spend-up guys are not like guys I'm personally considering, but that doesn't mean they're out of play. So Drummond and Embiid, you guys know like these guys do not like each other at all. They like going back and forth at it. Obviously, Drummond, no Blake Griffin had 2 huge games. The price is getting up there now to 9.5K, where the concern is, right, he's going up against Embiid, who, is he going to, oh, he was actually ruled out, okay. So with no Embiid, that's actually going to open up a little bit of usage here. So take that back here. Let's go to Philly. So with no Embiid, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they start Al Horford at the 5 or they start Kyle O'Quinn, a guy who, when he gets minutes, can be pretty productive. So that's the situation to monitor. I still think that Kyle O'Quinn gets pretty good minutes. And with that being said, I think he's one of the better value plays. Did this just happen? I guess yes, this actually, they just ruled him out here. So that's why I wasn't, has been ruled out Saturday's game. Okay, yep. So with Embiid out, again, that's going to open up a lot of usage here for Philly. So Kyle Quinn obviously has a value play. Al Horford could possibly play center. We'll see what they come out with starting lineup. But yeah, with no Embiid, Drummond, a little less concerned there with the foul trouble risk. And again, he's had such high usage here with no Blake Griffin, so you can consider him for sure as a spend up, right? Siakam, it is a back-to-back, but Toronto just is running a thin rotation. I think they did run a 9-man rotation that last game, but still, he's playing big minutes, 38-36. The concern is it's a back-to-back. The matchup's really good, so I think he's a solid spend up. Kevin Love at 8.4, definitely viable as well. Did play 36 minutes. I was a little concerned what the minutes were going to be like from him. He played 36 minutes. The matchup not necessarily the best here, but he's definitely in play. Vucevic, in the preseason game against Atlanta, he kind of busted, but again, it's a really good matchup. 8.3K is a fair price for Vucevic. Gobert's not really someone I'm on. Marketing in a tough matchup. I think I'm going to pass. Randall, again, kind of let me down. The matchup, not necessarily the best here against Boston, but he's playing huge minutes, so you could go back to the well there if you wanted to. Aldridge, this is a really good matchup against Washington. The concern is the blowout factor, right? But if this game can stay close, I think he could have a pretty solid game here at 7.7. Capella, again, I want a lot of pieces to this game, but do I want Capella or do I want guys like Westbrook and Harden? I think I'm going to lean towards guys like that over a guy like Capella, but that doesn't mean he's out of play. Sabonis is 7.5K. You guys know I love Sabonis. The offense runs through him and played 36 minutes, got 46 fantasy points, and gotten some foul trouble. So I think the price is still not coming up on him enough. So he's definitely viable there at 7.5. John Collins is 7.4K. Played 30 minutes, got 40 fantasy points. The matchup here, not necessarily the best against Orlando, but he's in play. Let's see. Miles Turner at 6.3K. I do kind of like this price. Cleveland kind of runs big, and he played 38 minutes that last game. So if these starters are going to continue to play those type of minutes, then yeah, Miles Turner at 6.3K I think is very viable. Again, he's got that block upside. He can get you like 4 or 5 blocks. Now Montrez at 6.2 was a little bit of a letdown there against Golden State, but it really wasn't his fault. The game turned into a blowout. He got, I think he would have played extra 5 or 6 minutes there. And the concern in this one, again, is there is some blowout risk, right? The Clippers have looked really good here, but the matchup's solid if this game can stay close. I think this game kind of runs more small ball. I think it goes with guys like Harrell and Kaminsky. So, yeah, I do kind of like Montrezl Harrell here at 6.2K. Let's see, Marc Gasol, he's really not looking like himself, right? I think he's like a shell of his former self. I just don't want to play 5.8K for him. Now, Horford is a guy that obviously gets a huge boost with no Embiid. And, yeah, 5.8K, I like that price tag a decent amount on him. Let's see, Favors at 5.7. The concern is just the minutes, right? 21, 22 minutes. If he was playing close to 30 minutes a game, then yes, I would really like him in this matchup. But they got Okafor, they got Melly. They're kind of like running small ball, so probably not. Favors is probably not for me. Other options, Bobby Portis came off the bench and only played 10 minutes. That was really surprising. So, yeah, I can't target him right now. Enes Kanter still going to be out, so we can talk about some Boston value bigs in a sec. Let's see, Alex Len could be asked to play some decent minutes here to guard Vucevic. The concern is he's always in foul trouble. Let's see, so Aaron Baines at 4.8K was one of those value guys I talked about in the last video. 29 minutes, 30 fantasy points. Now, the concern here is Denver ran really big, so Jokic is out there a lot, so they kind of needed Baines to be out there. This is, the Clippers kind of like running small ball, right, with Montrezl Harrell at the 5, so I'm a little worried about Baines' minutes. I don't think I know Zubac had a big game that last game, but he's not a guy that normally plays huge minutes. So the concern with Baines is I think he's only going to really be out there when Zubac's out there. So for that reason, I'm not as high on him, and the price is up on him more. I think I'm going to lean towards the guy like Kaminsky, where I think this game turns more into small ball. Frank Kaminsky, Montrezl Harrell. Markieff Morris listed as questionable. If he's not able to go, the list is probable. Okay, so he's a guy that I liked him when he was in like the 3.5K range. Now up at 4.6K. I think I'm going to look elsewhere. Dedmon, so these value bigs for Sacramento, Dedmon, Holmes, and Bjelica. I think I'm going to prefer guys like Holmes and Bjelica to Dedmon. It doesn't mean Dedmon's out of play. Again, 4.5K is a fair price. Now Robert Williams here at 4.4, these Boston value bigs. Daniel Tice kind of rolled his ankle. He did come back, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's available for this one. It is a back-to-back. If Tice is unavailable, could mean a few extra minutes for Robert Williams. Now, he's not going to play huge minutes, right? Brad Stevens really likes rotating those bigs, so no one's going to play huge minutes. But I think if Tice is out, Robert Williams maybe gets 5 or 6 more minutes, which at 4.4K is fair. Now, Zubac's a guy, again, he had that big game against Golden State, only played 18 minutes, though. So I'm probably going to pass, right? The upside is there on him, but he's very inconsistent, so don't know if I want to go there. Now, guys like Holmes and Kaminsky, really like these plays. Holmes came off the bench, only played 17 minutes, but got in foul trouble. Got 5 fouls, still put up 21 fantasy points in 17 minutes. If he didn't get in foul trouble, I think he could have put up like 30 fantasy points. Now, again, no Marvin Bagley. That's a lot of minutes to go around. He'll play some backup 4, some backup 5. So I do like Holmes a decent amount here as a value play. Same thing with Kaminsky, right? I think this game goes more towards small ball. He played 33 minutes in that game against Denver. So I kind of like Frank Kaminsky. He's been playing well in the preseason. The first couple games of the regular season, too, he's been playing good. So no DeAndre Ayton. Again, that's a lot of minutes to go around. I think this game runs more towards small ball. So I like Frank Kaminsky a good amount as a value play. Other options, Diallo, I don't think the minutes will be there enough on him. I think that's kind of it. Oh, so Kyle Quinn again. With no Embiid, it's going to be interesting to see who they start. Either way, I think Kyle O'Quinn probably gets 15, 20 minutes, maybe a little more. So he's definitely one of the top value plays here for sure at 3.2K. Again, it's going to be interesting to see who Philly starts. But yeah, that's kind of it. So let's move on to power forward. Power forward, you got Kawhi at the top in a solid matchup. At 8.9K, I think that's a 200 price for him. So as a spend up, I think he's pretty solid. Let's see. Already talked about a lot of these guys. Thomas Bryant's kind of like a walking double-double here, right, at 7.1K. Going to play pretty solid minutes, probably 30-plus minutes. Got over 50 fantasy points in the last game against OKC. So the matchup, again, not necessarily the best against the Spurs, but I think the price is fair. Now, these Boston guys like Tatum, let me go to Boston here. Guys like Tatum, Gordon Hayward, Jaylen Brown, they've been playing some pretty big minutes, right? 37 and 35 for Tatum. Hayward's been playing 35 and 37. Jaylen Brown's been playing big minutes. So if they're going to continue to play those type of minutes, then you have to consider these guys at very fair prices, right? 6.5, 5.9. Normally Boston, a pretty balanced team, and they kind of spread out the minutes, but these first couple games, these Boston guys have been playing big minutes. So, yeah, they're definitely in play here. Again, the concern is it's a back-to-back, so maybe they get limited slightly, but those prices are pretty fair on those Boston guys. Now, a guy like Tobias in a revenge game could be asked to play some more minutes here. So at 6.2K, again, no Embiid. That's a lot of usage to go around. My concern with Philly was they're such a balanced team, but with Embiid out, there's a lot of usage to go around here. Kelly Oubre is a guy that's really picked up the pace here. 37 minutes that last time, 40 fantasy points at 6K. I think he's slightly underpriced here. The concern is, he could get some Kawhi defense, so that's a slight downgrade. Let's see. Other options. Marcus Morris in a revenge game, you could look there, right? Kind of let me down with only 16 fantasy points at last time, but the game before that, 39, and in the preseason, he's been very good. So you could definitely go back to the well here if you wanted to with Marcus Morris at 5.3K. I think that price is very fair on him. Ingles was a guy that was kind of chalky last night with no Bogdanovich. Was kind of a letdown. Now, the matchup here, you could go back to the well. I think he's going to be a lot lower owned at 5.1K. Out of Portis been getting limited. Don't want to go there unless the minutes restriction is lifted. Let's see. Sarge was a little bit of letdown there, 4.5K. Played the minutes, right? 31 minutes, only 18 fantasy points, though. Don't mind him as a value play. Again, I think Kaminsky's going to be a lot more popular, but you could look to Sarge, too. We know the upside's there on him. Atlanta guys like Jabari. On a smaller slate, I targeted those guys, but on a big slate, I mean, they give minutes to Trae Young, big minutes to Trae Young and John Collins. Then, other than that, they run like a really spread out deep rotation. So, don't know if I want to go there on a big slate. Now, a guy like Bjelica, right? Holmes, Kaminsky, Bjelica. I really like these guys as value plays. Bjelica played 28 minutes there with no Bagley. Probably going to get more of the same again. I would say 20 to 30 minutes, somewhere in that range. And at 4K, he's a guy that always seems to get you a steal or two, can knock down some threes. So, yeah, Bjelica, Holmes, Kaminsky, really like those guys as value plays. Even Trey Lyles here at 3.7. Started and played 24 minutes. And this is a really solid match against Washington, right? We want to target players against Washington. And I think Trey Lyles definitely viable as a cheap play. I think he goes a little bit lower owned to guys like Kaminsky, Holmes, and Bjelica. But that doesn't mean Trey Lyles is out of play here. Let's see, other options. Now, Grant Williams is a guy that picked up some minutes there in the last time, played 22 minutes, got 20 fantasy points. If Daniel Tice misses again, they could, give Grant Williams some decent minutes here. So that's another value guy you got to consider. Ojale got a little bit of run. Don't know if I want to go there, though. Again, Kyle Quinn, I think, he's going to have to play some decent minutes here. And he's always a, fancy point per minute monster. So at 3.2K, I think he's going to be one of the top value plays on the slate. Let's see. I think that's kind of it. So let's move on to small forward. Ben Simmons with no Embiid, right? Get everyone in that lineup gets a huge boost. At 8.6K, I do kind of like that price on him. DeRozan in a great matchup at 7.5K. Definitely viable. I think I'm going to prefer a guy like DeJounte Murray over DeMar DeRozan, but DeRozan's okay there at 7.5. Now, Brandon Ingram's a guy I really like here at 6.9K. I know it's a back-to-back, but the matchup is so good against Houston. The over-under, right, almost at 240. That's almost unheard of these days. 35, 31 minutes. Probably not going to play more than that, but a really good matchup at 6.9K. No Zion, right? It's kind of him, Lonzo Ball, and Drew Holiday, the main guys in this offense. So I do kind of like Ingram there at 6.9K. If you don't want to go Ingram, you could definitely go to a guy like Tatum, right? These Boston guys are playing big minutes, 37, 35 minutes. Tatum's been really good the first couple games here. Shot the ball 22 times each of the first couple games. So yeah, I do like Tatum a decent amount here. Let's see, Aaron Gordon in a solid matchup. The price is coming down on him enough where you kind of consider him. Kind of had a not so good game there against Cleveland, but we know the upside's there, and this is a pretty solid matchup. So there are some guys here in this like 6 to 7K range that are very viable. Again, Tobias, huge boost with no Embiid. Let's see, other options. Luke Kennard, him and D Rose. Definitely get a boost here off the bench with no Blake Griffin. I think I'm going to prefer a guy like Derrick Rose because Luke Kennard a little scoring dependent. But if his shot's falling, right, he got 30 fantasy points that first game, so he's not out of play. I think I'm just to lean towards a guy like Derrick Rose. Now, Eric Gordon at 4.6K, very scoring dependent, right? Shot the ball terribly. 4 of 19, only put up 13 fantasy points. But if he's knocking down shots, he can get you there. So the concern is with him, the upside's high, but the floor is low. So that's why I'm never super high in playing these scoring dependent guys on big slates because they can definitely hurt you if their shot's not falling. Let's see, PJ Tucker's pretty fair, 4.2, right? He's a guy that, not a super high usage guy, but the minutes are going to be there. 38 minutes in the last game against Milwaukee. Now, I don't necessarily know if he's going to play 38 minutes a night. I would say probably 30 to 35 minutes is more fair projection for PJ Tucker. The matchup's really good. Again, not a super high usage guy, but if he's going to play big minutes in a great matchup, you got to consider him here at 4.2. Other options, Josh Hart at 3.6A has been playing some pretty solid minutes, right? 28, 26 minutes, 33 and 30 fantasy points each of the last couple of games. So if he's going to continue to play these type of minutes, you have to consider him in a good matchup. The concern is it's Alvin Gentry, and it wasn't a 12-man rotation, they ran an 11-man rotation, but still the minutes have kind of been spread out, but Hart's been playing really good here, so you got to consider him here at 3.6K. Edmond Sumner is a guy we could look to. Jeremy Lamb's questionable, so he would probably get the boost. I would assume he picks up the start, so that's a situation we have to monitor. Jeff Green picked up the start, but I don't know if I want to go Jeff Green here at 3.4K. I think there's better value plays. That's kind of it. So let's move on to shooting guard. Shooting guard. I love Harden here at 10.2K. I know kind of a letdown there against Milwaukee. Still put up 51 fantasy points. Shot the ball 2 of 13. Yeah, if his shot's falling, we know the upside's huge on Harden. The matchup, you can't get a better matchup here than the Pelicans, right? I've been talking about it all preseason, all regular season. You want to target guys against the Pelicans. Harden at 10.2K. That price is not up there enough. I love it. He's probably my favorite spend up of the day. Beal at 9K, I think is okay. But again, I'm just going to lean towards a guy like Harden. The only concern with Harden is the blowout risk, right? The game could definitely turn into a blowout. But if it stays close, I think Harden could have a massive game. Now, Booker at 8.7K was a little bit of a letdown with no 8 in the last game against Denver. Still played 41 minutes, so the game did go to overtime. But I think he's going to be asked to play big minutes once again at 8.7K. Again, there's a lot of usage to go around, so don't hate him as a spend up. I think I'm just leaning towards a guy like Harden. Drew Holiday's been kind of a letdown the last couple of games. 41-33 fantasy points, 41-33 minutes, only 29 fantasy points the last couple of games. I think I'm going to prefer a guy like Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram at cheaper prices. But if you want to spend up for Drew Holiday, not going to talk you off him. A guy like Donovan Mitchell's been really solid here at 7.9K. 55 and 42 fantasy points each of the last couple of games. Concern is it is a back-to-back, and there is some blowout risk, right? Sacramento missing Bagley. This game could turn into a blowout. If this game stays close, I think Donovan Mitchell could have a pretty big game. Levine has had a big game there against Memphis, put up 59 fantasy points at 7.7K. A guy that's going to play probably 30 to 35 minutes. The concern is it's not the best matchup against Toronto, but I still think he's in play. Lou Williams off the bench at 6.8K. You guys know he can fill it up in a very short amount of time. And if this game stays close, another guy that I think could have a pretty big game. Let's see. Other options. Again, Jeremy Lamb, if he misses, we could look to a guy like Edmond Sumner. Bogdanovich played a little bit more minutes with Bagley out, played 29 minutes, put up 28 fantasy points. So we know that's there, right? He let me down that first game, but we know the upside's there. He has 40, 50 fantasy point upside. And De'Aaron Fox is listed as questionable too. So if he misses, that could open up some more minutes. So don't mind him here at 4.9K. Now Derrick Rose at 4.9. Again, not going to play huge minutes, probably 25 to 30 minutes. Reggie Jackson is listed as questionable, so that's the situation we have to monitor. If he misses, Derrick Rose can play some more minutes, or they could start a guy like Tim Frazier. We'll see what Detroit does. Either way, Derrick Rose definitely viable here at 4.9K. Josh Richardson, do like this price on him a decent amount, right? With no Embiid, all those starters get a huge boost. Josh Richardson, Ben Simmons, Tobias, Al Horford all get a pretty big boost. In a solid matchup against Detroit, Josh Richardson probably going to play 30 to 35 minutes, 4.9K. I kind of like him as a value play, a good amount. Reggie Jackson, again, if he misses, we could look to a Derrick Rose, possibly Tim Frazier. Kobe White's been playing really solid here for Chicago. 27 and 30 minutes, 31 and 37 fantasy points. Now, I don't necessarily think we can expect this level of production to continue, but he's not out of play here at 4.7K for sure. Let's see. Other options. Chris Dunn, like if he's going to continue to play 20 to 25 minutes at 3.9K, that price is not up there enough. He's not a guy that's going to score a bunch, but he's a guy who can get your block steals, right? 3 steals, 2 blocks that last game, 4 steals that last time, or the game before that. So I think he's a solid value play. I think I'm going to prefer those other value bigs to him, but that doesn't mean Chris Dunn's out of play here at 3.9K. Again, Josh Hart been really solid. Alexander Walker maybe gets a little extra run, right? 15 minutes, put up 16 fantasy points. If I knew this guy could play like 20 to 25 minutes, I would lock him in. But I just don't think the minutes will necessarily be high enough on him. But you never know, right? If he's playing well, maybe it's extended. Alvin Gentry said he's going to, no one's guaranteed huge minutes. So I think you can't go there in cash games with Alexander Walker. But for GPPs, if you're making multiple lineups, I would throw him in there for one because we know the upside's high on him, right? We saw it in the preseason. I think that's kind of it, though, for shooting guards. Let's move on to point guard. Point guard, I already talked about Harden. Love Westbrook here, too. You could definitely play both if you really want to. The concern with playing both is, again, this game could turn into a blowout. But, yeah, I like both those prices a lot on those guys and a great matchup. Now, Trae Young, another guy that had a huge game last time. 37 minutes, 62 fantasy points. I don't think we can expect that level of production again. But if he's going to continue to play these type of minutes, 37 minutes a night, yeah, I like that a good amount, right? DJ Augustine, not scared of his defense. So Trae Young at 8.8K. The concern is, are you going to play Westbrook over Trae Young? That's what I'm personally considering right now. I got Harden kind of locked in. I'm deciding between Westbrook and Trae Young. I like both these guys a good amount. Even could look to a guy like Ben Simmons, right, with no Embiid. A lot of usage to go around. De'Aaron Fox, this is a situation we have to monitor. Currently listed as questionable. If he misses, then Bogdan will get a little bit extra run. We can look to a guy like Corey Joseph as a solid value play. So again, that's the situation we'll have to monitor. Kyle Lowry, right? These Toronto guys are just playing big minutes. 40 minutes the last game against Boston. If he's going to continue to play these type of minutes at 7.3K, that price is not up there enough on Kyle Lowry. So I like him a good amount here at 7.3. Rubio is a guy that been playing pretty solid minutes too. 30 and 36 minutes. The game did go into overtime, but he's a guy that doesn't necessarily have to score to get you there. Can get you a triple-double, right? In the last game, 9 points, 9 assists, 8 boards. The first game, 11 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds. So at 6.6K, I think he's fair. I think I would lean towards a guy like Lou Williams and Kyle Lowry over him. I think the upside's a little bit higher in those guys, but that doesn't mean Rubio is out of play if you want to go there. Let's see. Lonzo Ball at 5.9. I like a good amount. The concern is, again, Alvin Gentry didn't play him at all in the fourth quarter in that first game. So it's a back-to-back too. Maybe the minutes get slightly limited on him, but it's such a good matchup and a high over-under. I might take the shot on Lonzo and risk it, and if he doesn't play the fourth quarter, then he doesn't, right? I know the risk is there, but the upside's pretty big on him if he's going to play, 30 to 35 minutes. DeJounte Murray at 5.7, like this price on him a good amount. The concern is he only played 24 minutes in the game against New York. It's Popovich, right? Hopefully it gets extended a bit more here. If he's going to play 30 minutes a night, I would love him, right? He put up 41 fantasy points in 24 minutes. The matchup, you can't get a better matchup here than Washington. One of the best matchups. So, yeah, I think DeJounte Murray, again, going to have a breakout year. He's a guy I've been all over in the preseason. I like him a good amount. The concern is, again, the minutes. Only played 24 the last time. Let's see. Other options. Dennis Smith Jr., I don't think the minutes will be up on him enough. Let's talk about Corey Joseph here. So he's at 3.3K. I presume he would pick up the start if De'Aaron Fox has to miss. And if Corey Joseph picks up the start, I think he gets 25, maybe 30 minutes at 3.3K. He would be one of the top value plays in the slate. So there are a lot of good value plays on the slate right now. You got a guy like Corey Joseph possibly. You got those value bigs, right? You got O'Quinn. There's a lot of solid value plays on the slate. But I think that's basically it. So yeah, as of right now, making this video a Saturday morning, a lot can change. So it's very important to follow me on Twitter, guys. That will be in the description below. Unfortunately, I will not be able to live stream, but I should be back to my normal live streaming schedule tomorrow, Sunday, and throughout the week next week. But yeah, as of right now, my preferred build is the Stars and Scrubs approach once again, right? There's a lot of solid value plays and the spend ups. Guys like Harden, Westbrook, Trae Young. You could look to, Drummond, right? There's a lot of solid spend ups, and I think that's my preferred build as of right now. So I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate it if you'd like this video and subscribe if you haven't. Again, if you want to get entered in the giveaway, all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. That's one entry in the giveaway. I'll be back for another video, breaking down the Sunday NBA slate. So I'll probably have that up tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. And thanks again for coming to check out the video, guys. I will see you later.